Мене звуть Олена Astasieva. Я авторка п'єси «Словник емоцій воєнного часу». Все своє життя я прожила в Україні, у місті Херсон. Але я була вимушена покинути свою домівку через війну. Зараз, коли я записую це відео, Росія знищує моє місто. Я написала свій словник емоцій і дала згоду на його переклад на англійську мову заради того, щоб якомога більше людей у світі дізналася правду про агресію Росії проти України. Я хочу, щоб ви зрозуміли, що ми відчували, коли на наші голови почали падати бомби.
Fear. We're being bombed. I hear the sound of shells outside the window. I Google what to do. Hide in your apartment between two windowless walls. No doors, no windows. I don't have any walls without windows or doors. Even the bathroom has a window. The hallway has 3 doors and one of those has glass in it. What idiotic planning. Maybe best to run to the basement. I go to Google again. Do not hide in basements under any circumstance if there is no water source, air conditioning, and a toilet. We have none of those in our basement. I lie down on the sofa. Nothing's gonna help me anyway. Hunger. You have to stand 3 hours in line to buy anything. But what do you buy? Buy meat and freeze it? But if a shell strikes the electric grid, there will be no electricity and the meat will go bad. Macaroni and grains? But what are you going to do if they turn off the gas? You need something that doesn't have to be prepared. Cookies? They sold out long ago. There are none left on the store shelves. Dry out some bread maybe, but there's no bread either. I look at the empty shelves, confused. I've got to come home with something. Something we can eat sitting in a basement while bombs land on my apartment. Cleaning. Ugh, I hate dust. I really should mop the place. But what if the apartment is bombed? Then why waste the effort? What if they evacuate us and we have to leave immediately? No point in mopping the floors. Does one need to clean an apartment in wartime? Does anyone know what the rules are on this? Betrayal. I didn't understand immediately what was going on. Why were my cultured friends from Russia mumbling these abstract phrases like
«Я против войны»,
instead of saying
«Мое государство совершает преступление! Его захватили злые силы! Я в отчаянии! Я не знаю, что делать!»
3 people wrote that to me. 3. That's probably quite a few, given that it seems every 4th inhabitant of Russia is not only not against the war in Ukraine, but even happy with it. I treated the citizens of the Russian Federation like living people, but they turned out to be zombies. I wanted to be tolerant. I didn't think people were to blame. It's all Putin. I didn't watch Russian TV. I didn't know what was happening there. From a Russian friend.
Oh my gosh, Lena, how are you? Your question, who among us Russians support you? I don't understand. How could anyone not support you? You know, I have some other friends in the Ukraine, and they have been very aggressive. Some have quit writing altogether. One girl in Kiev saw a little rocket spinning out of her window, and she unleashed this incredible tirade of aggressive accusations at me as if I were the one personally to blame for it. But I would like to understand it for myself. But I want to know the truth. I want to see it with open eyes, even if it frightens me. And I don't watch the Ukrainian channels. I can't stand so much pain and tears. I never could have imagined something like this happening in the 21st century. And you know, everything's been complicated by the fact that I've had COVID for the last 2 weeks. So I've been on all these different types of pills, and I've been completely wiped out. And it feels as if everything is a dream, and I'm just gonna wake up any minute now.
Hatred. When you hear the sound of a shell flying at your house, at first you feel fear, then hatred. Hatred for whoever did it. For all of Russia. For all its inhabitants without exception. Until you hear the sound of a shell outside your window, you will not understand what hatred is. Love. I have a friend. Well, not so much a friend. I mean, the relationship is complicated. He lives near Kyiv, I live in Kherson. We rarely see each other. We had decided that each of us was on our own, no obligations, an open relationship. He wanted to come to Kherson on Women's Day, March 8th, but the war began on February 24th. And now I have no idea whether we'll get together or not. I'm afraid one day he won't pick up the phone. The place where he is now it's under heavy fire. Irritation. I read the posts of those that managed to escape. They're in Europe now, safe, and I'm really happy for them. I follow all their stories, some in Poland, some in Moldova, and some in Sweden. I understand that it's difficult for them abroad, but it irritates me for some reason. It's the desperation of being trapped. Guilt. I feel guilty when I read about Kharkov and Mariupol, because these cities are being bombed heavily. Our Kherson didn't suffer much. A shopping center, 2 apartment buildings, a few schools. We're kind of outside of things because everyone else is fighting while we're under occupation. This is the guilt of the soldier who has been taken prisoner. Messages from a Ukrainian friend. Today, I crawled home from the hunt with 2 loaves of bread and 3 packages of oatmeal. My sister and dad conducted a special operation on apples and brought home a pack. There are no fruits, and I need vitamins. I'll give birth soon. The main thing is to have access to the maternity ward and medicine. People write to me every day from different cities and countries. Come here. We're under occupation. Where the hell am I going to go? I keep kicking myself for not leaving. Not for my sake, but for my future baby. I'm very pessimistic about the end of all this shit. That's life. One day at a time. Tears. My friend Sasha. He's a music lover. He collects records. He writes, I heard music for the first time since the start of the war. And I sobbed as I sat there next to the player, listening straight through to the end. It didn't feel any better. War is when even men cry. They can do that now. Choices. What you can die of during a war. When a shell hits, a building might catch fire. You might burn up or die of asphyxiation. You might be shot in your car as you try to leave town. You might die of hunger sitting in a shelter because you can't go out for provisions. You might die of hunger because there's a blockade and no food is delivered to your town. You might die of illness because medicine is not being delivered to your city. If a shell hits you, it rips you to pieces. If a shell hits your apartment building, you can be crushed under the rubble. Time. As soon as the war began, we said, it will last a few days and then it'll be over. Then, it will all be finished in 3 to 4 days, tops. Then, we'll know what to expect in 2 weeks. 2 weeks passed and now I hear, this war was planned to last a month. For some reason, I have bad premonitions. Weather. As I awoke this morning, I heard thunder in my sleep. It's gonna rain, I thought. Then I came to fully and realized those were shells exploding.